My dear Pisces, let's have an honest conversation about your shadow characteristics. And I want you to stay with this one, because your first instinct might be to feel it too deeply, or to quietly drift somewhere else while it's playing. Both of those responses, as it happens, are exactly what we need to talk about. You are one of the most genuinely feeling signs in the zodiac. That capacity for empathy, for imagination, for emotional depth, it's real and it matters. But every strength has a shadow, and yours tend to be soft-edged and hard to name, which makes them easier to overlook. Self-awareness is not a threat to who you are, Pisces. It's the thing that keeps your gifts from working against you. The first pattern worth looking at is escapism. Pisces is a water sign, and water signs feel everything. Add Neptune, your modern ruling planet, which is associated with imagination, illusion, and the blurring of boundaries, and you get a person whose inner world is so vivid, so absorbing, that the outer world can feel harsh by comparison. When real life becomes uncomfortable, and it does for everyone, you have an unusually easy time leaving it. Not physically, necessarily. Mentally. You drift into fantasy, into distraction, into anything that softens the edges of what's actually happening. The recognizable version of this: you have something difficult that needs your attention. A conversation, a decision, a problem with a real deadline. Instead of addressing it, you spend 3 hours consuming something, a show, a scroll, a daydream, that has nothing to do with the thing. You feel briefly better. The thing is still there. It's a little larger now, because time has passed, and the cycle repeats. This is what you can do. Write the difficult thing down on a piece of paper. One sentence. Put it somewhere you'll physically see it before you sit down to escape. On the remote. On your phone case. On the chair. You don't have to solve it yet, but you do have to look at it first. Make avoidance require one conscious step. The second pattern is a tendency towards self-pity that can quietly become an identity. Pisces is a mutable sign, which means you adapt, absorb, and take on the shape of whatever surrounds you. That makes you extraordinarily empathetic. It also means that when pain arrives, you absorb it completely. You don't just experience hardship. You inhabit it. And sometimes the story of your suffering becomes more familiar than the idea of life without it. This isn't manipulation. It isn't even conscious most of the time. It's a pattern where feeling wrong starts to feel like proof of your sensitivity, and sensitivity starts to feel like your most important quality. The example is quiet and familiar. Something genuinely hard happened to you. It deserved to be felt. But that was a long time ago, and you're still leading with it. Not in every conversation, but in the way you see yourself. In the reasons you give for why things haven't worked out. In the way hardship feels strangely comfortable, because at least it's known. Here is the shift. Take one story you've been telling yourself about why something in your life didn't work. Write it down in one paragraph. Then rewrite it in one sentence that removes all blame, including self-blame. Just the fact. No feeling attached. Not forever. Just once. See what's left when the narrative comes off. The third pattern is a chronic difficulty with boundaries. Neptune's association with dissolution, with the merging of self and other, shows up practically as a person who struggles to know where they end and someone else begins. You feel other people's emotions almost as your own. You absorb the mood of a room without trying. And because you feel so much of what others feel, saying no can feel like causing harm. It can feel almost physically painful to disappoint someone when you can already sense what that disappointment will feel like for them. So you say yes when you mean no. You agree when you don't agree. You give more than you have because the alternative feels unkind. And then, quietly, you start to resent the people you were trying to protect. A version of this you'll recognize. A friend asks for something, your time, your help, your presence, and you don't have it to give. Not genuinely. But you feel their needs so clearly that you offer it anyway. You show up. You're there. But part of you is hollow while you do it, because you gave something you hadn't refilled. This is how you can counter it. Before you say yes to any request that costs you real time or effort, introduce a pause. Say out loud, "Let me check and get back to you." Every time. Even if you already know the answer. That pause is where the honest answer lives. Use it. The fourth pattern is idealization, and this one causes some of your most painful experiences. Mutable water combined with Neptune's influence creates a person who sees potential with extraordinary clarity, sometimes more clearly than the reality in front of them. You fall in love with what something could be: a person, a job, a friendship, a plan. You see the best version of it and you invest in that version wholeheartedly. The problem is that the best version and the actual version are not always the same thing. And when reality eventually shows up to correct the picture, the gap between what you believed and what is true can be devastating. Not because you were naive exactly, because you love the possibility so genuinely that letting it go feels like a kind of grief. The recognizable pattern: you meet someone who has real qualities you admire and a few significant qualities that concern you. But you focus on the admirable ones. You explain away the concerning ones. You're not ignoring them. You're just choosing to believe the better version will win. Months later, the concerning ones are still there. You're surprised, but you probably shouldn't be. This is what you can do when you're excited about something new, a person, an opportunity, anything. Write down 3 things that concern you about it alongside the 3 things that excite you. Not to talk yourself out of it, just to keep both lists equally visible. Let the real thing be allowed in the room with the ideal thing. The 5th pattern is conflict avoidance, and it runs deeper in Pisces than in almost any other sign. You don't avoid conflict because you're lazy or indifferent. You avoid it because you feel the discomfort of conflict so acutely, both yours and the other person's, that direct confrontation can feel genuinely overwhelming. So you go quiet. You become vague. You agree in the moment and then do nothing, or you simply withdraw from situations and relationships that require a hard conversation. The passive version of this is easy to miss because it looks like patience or flexibility or not wanting to make a big deal of things. But what it actually does is leave real problems unaddressed and real feelings unspoken, and you end up carrying them alone, which brings us right back to pattern 2. A specific version. Someone in your life has been doing something that genuinely bothers you. You haven't said anything. You've hoped they'd notice on their own. They haven't. You're now more bothered by the original thing and by the fact that you haven't addressed it. You've replayed the conversation you could have in your head at least a dozen times. It's still just in your head. This is the shift. Write the conversation down. The actual thing you want to say, in plain language, on paper. Then identify just the first sentence. The opener. Not the whole conversation. Just the first sentence. Send that sentence, or say it, within 48 hours of writing it. One sentence is a conversation. Everything after that takes care of itself. So there they are. 5 patterns, all distinctly Pisces, and every one of them workable. An escapism so practiced it can feel like self-care. A relationship with suffering that sometimes becomes more familiar than comfort. Boundaries so soft that generosity tips into resentment. A gift for seeing potential that occasionally outpaces reality. And a conflict avoidance so thorough that important things go unsaid for years. None of these diminish what you are. They're just the places where your depth has drifted a little past its own edges. Which one hit closest to home? Was it the thing sitting on your to-do list that you keep softening around? The yes you said when you meant something else? The first sentence you still haven't spoken? Leave a comment below. Tell me which weakness landed hardest. And if this kind of honest, grounded reflection is useful to you, consider subscribing. No mysticism, no flattery. Just clear observations and real next steps, the kind that actually move the needle. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a blessed day.